Thank you, Maharaj.
Well, I first met Bhakti Charu Maharaj in Bombay when he'd been taken on board by Srila Prabhupada as his one of his secretaries, and his Hindi language secretary and general assistant. And he was pretty new. And I was just thinking, who's this new guy? I was clueless. I think that's the word. Yeah, appreciated, nice fellow, but I'm a big senior man, and here's this new person, but okay, he's with Prabhupada. But I came to appreciate that Prabhupada had immediately selected Bhakti Charu Maharaj and promoted him or singled him out as special. We know that Prabhupada gave him very quickly first initiation, second initiation, sannyas. Towaco Krishna Maharaj at the time, I think, had objected that he's so new, to give him sannyas. Prabhupada, I forget exactly what he said, but to the effect that you don't know. So Prabhupada immediately gave him sannyas, although at that time he was quite young, but Prabhupada appreciated that here was a very special devotee. I later, I think, had where I had concentrated association with Maharaj was in Prabhupada's last days. I came to Vrindavan, and it wasn't much later that he also came to Vrindavan. He'd been with Prabhupada, but now I forget where he was coming from. But I remember he came in the evening. We, of course, Prabhupada had devotees with him around the clock. We used to chant with these little small kartals, or whatever Prabhupada would want us to do, but in the evenings, especially kirtan. And I remember he came in the evening, and then he approached Prabhupada and was speaking to Srila Prabhupada so gently and softly and in such an encouraging sort of way, not superficially encouraging, but just a soothing way. That would be the way to put it. He was just, if I remember, he was also like massaging Prabhupada's head. I forget exactly, but his presence was immediately soothing. It was the appropriate thing. Prabhupada was in such a difficult circumstance at that time, and Maharaj came in, and I just thought, this is just like a perfect disciple. He's not a problem. He's not concerned with his own issues. Okay, my voice is too low, but I think I know what to do about that. Hold on. No, I have nothing else to do. Is my voice very low?
It's fine here. I think it just, you have to turn up the volume on your end, whoever is listening, because for me, it's very loud and clear. I think other devotees are also fine.
Okay. So I just thought that this is the ideal of a disciple. Bruyu snigdhasya shishasya guruve gurumapyuta. The sages told Sutta Goswami that you've received all the blessings reserved by your spiritual masters have given you all the blessings reserved for a gentle disciple. Pruyu snigdhasya shishasya guruve gurumapyuta. Snigdha, in it's one of those terms that doesn't really quite cross over cultural boundaries. You know, we have different words that mean different things. In snigdha means smooth or even oily, but so you know, in our American culture, we think oily is like slick and probably dishonest and a fast talker or something. But the intended meaning, the metaphor or the in context is gentle, smooth and gentle, like food that's like baby food is maybe the extreme example. How smooth and gentle it is. It just goes down so nice. It's easy to digest. So snigdha means gentle. And I just thought that here's the ideal of a gentle disciple. His whole demeanor is like that. And that's not only on that occasion, but that's, I know that in Gaudiya Math, everyone loves Bhakti Charu Maharaj. All the different maths, they appreciate him so much because they see his gentle Vaishnav qualities. He's learned, he knows the philosophy, he's accomplished many things, he has so many disciples, but he's always a gentle person and knows how to respect all others also. What is gentle? Amanina amanadena, kirtaniya sadahari. Not to be looking for respect or praise or veneration, but to always be looking to give respect to others. Remember, I was one time in a car with Maharaj. We were driving and we'd reached Mayapur, or we were driving in Mayapur. I think maybe we'd reached Mayapur. And on the internal road, there was a pole that meant to restrict traffic. So they put that in the middle of the road, but you could remove it if there was some VIP or something. And Chandrasekhar Prabhu, Maharaj's disciple, was driving. And all of a sudden, Maharaj said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "What's wrong with you? How can you let my godbrother do that work? That you don't you see that you're my godbrother is having to lift this iron pole for you? What's wrong with you?" Such a finely tuned sense of who should be respected how. Here's, I just saw somebody lifting the thing, but he immediately saw that's my godbrother, and how can you let him do that? You get over there and do it. So amanina amanadena, not looking for respect, but always giving respect to others. And I see that when Maharaj moves around and he's dealing with different people, he's comfortable dealing with different people because there's not a false ego there or a material desires there. He's not seeing what can this person do for me, what can I get out of this person, but just encouraging people, appreciating people, the honoring people or recognizing people so that they'll feel encouraged in their Krishna consciousness. And just in small ways, how to be, the Prabhupada's word was nice. Sometimes we're very, very strong on Krishna consciousness, short on being nice. But Prabhupada said sometimes the sign of a Krishna person is that he's a perfect gentleman. The sign of a Krishna conscious person is that he's a perfect gentleman. So that quality Bhakti has, that he's just a perfect gentleman, not even in a way that sticks out. Sometimes a perfect gentleman is putting on the airs of a perfect gentleman. But no, he's just so gentle, so nice, so friendly also. That's another Vaishnava quality. So friendly. So everybody loves him. All the Gaudiya Math people love him. We love him because he has such wonderful qualities. He's also an excellent cook. I think most devotees on this call know that. He was cooking for Prabhupada, and whatever he cooks, it said that about one of the Goswamis, I forget which one, maybe Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, that whatever he cooked would be charge has that whatever he cooks will be just like nectar, because also he cooks so nicely, and then he serves so nicely, or arranges for prasadam to be served so nicely. If I know I learned so much he gave a course many years ago when we first started the Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education. He gave a course on Vaishnava etiquette. And I don't know if gives that course still, or in other venues or not. But it was so enlightening because he knew all the finer details of how to serve the Vaishnavas, especially. Etiquette means how we deal, etiquette in ordinary thinking, just sort of manners, how to behave yourself. But there's a consciousness, a Vaishnava consciousness behind Vaishnava etiquette. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I can't tolerate anyone who transgresses the Vaishnava etiquette. And for the most part, especially Western recruits, we don't even know what etiquette is. We have no sense of these things. So one time Prabhupada had said, I want all of my to spend some time in India and become cultured. Become cultured. Because how we act is not just a question of philosophy, or even a question of knowing cultural norms, although that helps. But yes, knowing cultural norms and knowing the mentality that goes behind it. There's for cultured people, and the Vaishnavas are supposed to be the most cultured people, there's a consideration of others, and there are cultural norms that foster that foster at least civil dealings, and even congenial dealings and loving dealings with others. With the ordinary person, congenial dealings. They should think that this person is so nice. And that's what the impression that many people had of Srila Prabhupada, or of these, that they're just nice. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're nice. One of my favorite stories about Prabhupada was about this journalist. It's in Prabhupada Lilamrita. A journalist early on got a tip that there was this Swami from India who was camped out somewhere. And he thought, and his tipster said that, I think he's about to start a new religious movement. So this man went up to where Prabhupada was staying, in this Bowery loft, and Prabhupada was well, first he came into this big loft, and there were all these sort of spaced out creatures from the lower, people doing yogasanas, and someone's trying to stand on his head, and someone's doing this, and someone's doing that. This is very early on, 1966 must have been. And the man went through the loft, and he came to the back. There was this curtained off area, and he saw Prabhupada, and he saw that Prabhupada was obviously a cultured person, an educated person. He said, "Should I take off my shoes?" Prabhupada said, "As you like. You don't have to take them off, as you like." And then he asked, "What are those people doing out there?" And Prabhupada said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm trying to teach them something, but they are not understanding." Anyway, there's a little bit more to that. But then at the end, the man said that, "I just plain liked the guy." That was the journalist's comment. "I just plain liked the guy." He appreciated that was a wonderful person. He maybe didn't understand what Prabhupada was trying to teach, but he just appreciated that here's such a. So with Bhakti Charu Maharaj also, one will just, any normal person will just appreciate, here's such a nice, gentle, and the Vaishnavas will appreciate that here's an ideal devotee. Bruyus nigdhasya shishyasya. And yet he could also be strong. He's told me sometimes, because he's, as you know, GBC member, and GBC members sometimes have to take a stand on something. So he said that I'm like a dog. He said, if someone threatens the master, or someone intrudes, then the dog has to bark. If someone's doing something, then the dog has to bark. He said, so what can I do? I also, if someone's, what shall we say, causing some problem for Prabhupada society, he said, I have to bark. That's my duty. So I've been speaking about Maharaj's course, etiquette course. So if it's available anywhere, it's so much worth hearing. So much worth hearing, because just how he presented everything in a practical way and giving the right understanding, like how to serve prasadam, for example. That's how I got started on this. That Maharaj serves prasadam so nicely, or if he has people serving, he sees that everyone is served nicely. What do people want? How are they being served? Everything, because that's so important. A big part of Krishna consciousness is honoring prasadam. And Maharaj knows how to cook. He knows how to serve. And very expertly. Very expertly. And knows how to do everything, actually. His kirtan is so wonderful, so sweet. There's in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, someplace the author says that the devotees doing kirtan birds, the cuckoo birds sings very sweetly. It's not like raucous. It's not a racket. It's not, as Prabhupada said, clanging and banging, but sweet. So Maharaj's kirtan is also like that. He sings so sweetly and so nicely. So that's another wonderful quality. Kirtan, prasadam, serving the deity, serving the Vaishnavas. All wonderful. All wonderful and wonderful. The Maybe I'll stop here and give others an opportunity to say something. If others would also like to add.
If anyone would like to add your appreciation, please use the raise hand feature, or you can just type in the group chat and I will then go ahead and unmute you. This way, we can do it in a systematic manner. So if you go in the participants window, if you click on participants over there, and the bottom of the screen, there'll be a list of participants, and then you could raise your hand, and then I'll unmute you, and you can go ahead and share. So we'll start with Yadunath Prabhu and Ekanta Bhakti. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for taking over in this particular way tonight. I just wanted to tell you what I heard in the beginning. You mentioned the story of Tamal Krishna Maharaj having some reservations about giving Bhakti Charu Swami sannyas so quickly. And of course I wasn't there, but what I heard was Maharaj was beseeching Srila Prabhupada that, he's new, we don't know him so well yet, he could fall, he could easily fall. And what I heard Srila Prabhupada's response was that, don't worry, if he falls, he'll fall into the mode of goodness. I always loved that story, so I thought I'd pass that on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yadunath Prabhu. Anybody else would like to make a comment of appreciation or?
I should also say, just as a matter of practical accomplishments, that so many books of Srila Prabhupada are translated into Bengali by Bhakti Charu Maharaj. The whole Chaitanya Charitamrita and other, I think, Srimad Bhagavatam, so much is translated into Bengali. That personal service he's done. And that means to do that, you need to be scholarly, you need to think carefully about what the language and what everything is saying. So that's a wonderful, if you hadn't done anything but that, just contribute these books in Bengali, that would be such a wonderful contribution.
Yeah, that was huge. Thank you, Maharaj. And I can also add, among his many contributions, the movie, the series Abhay Charan, which is massive. I mean, this is not something, being a director of Hollywood level production, it's not something you just do, but yet that is just something he picked up and just did. He ran with it, and he pulled together all these incredible resources, and it was so anyway, I'm just in awe at his incredible resourcefulness and depth and dedication to Srila Prabhupada, because to show Srila Prabhupada in the movie form, you really have to understand Srila Prabhupada's mood, his heart, and he did that so beautifully. So I have a little bit of an update that Maharaj is, so we just saw on Facebook that Maharaj's health is not that great. He has some fever. As of, I think yesterday he had some fever or something. So our best guess right now is that his health was a little up and down. So I pray it's not, I hope and pray it's not something too serious, but hopefully we'll be able to get through them to but so please keep your prayers as well. But I'm sure he's doing well. So next we have Her Grace Vegavati Devidasi from Alachua. Go ahead, Mother Vegavati.
Okay, so also appreciating that, Maharaj, you just dove in and started glorifying Bhakti Charu Maharaj. It was so sweet to hear. So last fall, I went to India, and Nanda and I traveled together. So when we got to the airport in Orlando, it turned out we were on the same plane with Bhakti Charu Maharaj and a couple of his disciples. So he and Nanda were walking the hall together, and I was just a little bit behind. But then when we arrived where we were to wait, Nanda suddenly realized she had lost her bead bag, and she thought it must have gone, when you go through the security check. She went back to get the bead bag, and for a few minutes, so I got to talk to Maharaj, and he asked me my name. And then I realized he didn't recognize me, although I had done typing for him years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. So I said, Maharaj, when I tell you my name, you'll know who I am. And I told him. And then he said, oh, you look so different. Well, those days, I used to have long hair. I didn't have glasses, and I probably gained 50 pounds. And he handled it so graciously. He said, oh, you did some typing for me. And he said, and I said, well, people sometimes change how they look. He then began to tell me that he just recently seen, I think the Queen of England had celebrated her birthday. So they had done a montage of her whole life, from little girl to young lady becoming the queen, pictures with, different leaders, and now she's grandmother, old lady. And it was so sweet. And only later did I think, here I am again. I was so different, and but he had the graciousness to compare me to the Queen of England. So just like Maharaj was saying, he always knew how to just be completely gracious and make everybody feel comfortable. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was it. Just shows that facet of Maharaj, incredible. So we have Mahesh Pandit Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for taking over in place of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I just want to say about how he developed the temple in Ujjain within 1 year of time, and it's very remarkable. And also the project in Florida, how Maharaj took over, and also his involvement in taking back Brooklyn Temple in ISKCON.
Yeah, I can speak to that. It was quite a tense day, actually, when the GBC Executive Committee came to Brooklyn to essentially announce to the devotees that the GBC had decided to change the management, and it was very tense. And I was there, and you could see that it was just about to build up to, like, this is going to be, something's going to happen here. And just perfectly, Maharaj just began chanting Hare Krishna. He just began kirtan. And again, and not in just in perfect control. In perfect control. He didn't do anything confrontational or of Krishna. And that again showed his and it was tense. I mean, you could see that the pressure was on all of these, it was considered to be like an invasion, that the GBC had the audacity to come and do something or say something. But and so it was exceedingly tense, but he just perfectly remained calm and chanted the holy name of Krishna. just perfect. And I think about what I might have done in such a circumstance. But he totally kept his composure, and it was wonderful to see. And it was tough because afterwards, I could see it was like it wasn't an easy thing to do with all that, to bear all that pressure, but he just handled it perfectly. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. Thank you. We have Priya Mataji. Dr. Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for sharing and glorifying Bhakti Charu Swami. I had opportunity to serve him in Mayapur, India, and also in Russia. When he came first time there, I was translating for him. And that time he brought producer of the first few series of Abhay Charan, Tarun. And I had to translate for Tarun and take him different places. And Maharaj, he was cooking lunch for us. And at that time also there was meeting in Moscow. There was Niranjana Swami and few Bhaktivedanta Swami, and they wanted Maharaj to cook for them. So they were saying, no, why he's cooking for you? He has to cook for them. So Maharaj was, everybody wanted him to be in different places, to have his association. And then when I came to Mayapur, I got opportunity to participate when he started filming, was continuing Abhay Charan, and with the series with Panchatattva and the Mahaprakash Leela. And there was usually filming was done at night when there was no visitors. In Prabhupada Samadhi, it was Chandkazi Palace, and it was a lot of association with Maharaj. And he was always very, anybody could come to him. He was very reachable, very, any devotee, and he was very simple. I noticed that he usually, if he wanted to talk, he never asked his secretary to call. He was doing it personally all the time. And it really amazed me. And then we travel with him to Danya. He was going every year he brought his brothers and his sister. There was festivals, big festivals, so some life members were arranging the anniversary of deities, prasad distribution, kirtans, and he brought his brothers. One of the brothers looked exactly like him, identical of Maharaj's brother. I think some of them living in United States and I know Canada, and the sister, she's older. So there was like very amazing. Also, they very, very gentle, very humble like him. You can see his brothers and sisters. It's amazing. And they were talking to devotees, to us as well. And in one time, I wasn't able, I wanted to go to Jain, and Maharaj told me, you can go with me to Jain tomorrow. And I was engaged in the service for Jayadvaita. So I said, I can't do it, Maharaj. Okay, so whenever you want to go to Jain, just let me know. I will arrange everything for you. So it was really amazing. And my last meeting with him, it was when, unfortunately, my husband passed away, Jagajeevan Prabhu, in Mumbai. And Maharaj was in Mumbai. At that moment, he was leaving for the flight from Juhu. He had to go to flight to another country, but he took his time. He went with me to the hospital, and he was supporting me there in this difficult moment. So I'm really grateful to Maharaj for doing it for me. So that's my short memory.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I thought of another thing. After Prabhupada's disappearance, those were very difficult days in the sense that the many senior devotees were sort of marginalized, and authority and attention and everything was invested in 11 leaders who were taken to be Prabhupada's successors. So Maharaj was very much marginalized there. It was like suddenly he and many other senior devotees, they had no place. They're just they're not the big men, so they're just, you don't count. There was a lot of that going on. Sorry to bring up the history, but the reason I bring it up is because he could have very easily just joined the Gaudiya Math, where he would have gotten so much honor, and they were ready to embrace him and give him service, and he would have been a very big person there. But he just couldn't be anything but loyal to Srila Prabhupada. That was his heart. That it may be easy, it may be difficult, I may be honored, I may be dishonored, but I can't leave Srila Prabhupada. He's always keeping Srila Prabhupada in front, in the forefront of his life. Thank you, Bhakti Priya.
Thank you. We have one more. We'll do one more Yeshudullah Prabhu, and then we'll make some final announcements. Go ahead, Yeshudullah Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Tanvat Prams. So I was thinking in Brihad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni actually instructs his tongue to glorify the devotees. That's what you're doing. So thank you. That was most nectarian. With your permission, may I read a very short passage from Bhakti Charu Swami's book, Ocean of Mercy?
Sure.
It's
a few drops from the ocean of mercy.
Yeah. So this is towards the end of Prabhupada's manifest pastimes on this planet. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bhakti Charu Swami were in Prabhupada's room, and they were discussing different things. And I'm summarizing and then getting to the passage that I want to get to. And so Bhakti Charu Swami said, in some sampradayas, spiritual lineages, sannyasis are forbidden to even look at a woman. And then there's a discussion. When Prabhupada says, just trying not to look at a woman will not work. So Maharaj asked Prabhupada, then how can one overcome this overwhelming attraction? By developing the higher taste. That is the only way to overcome this attraction. Param drishtva nivartate, by getting the higher taste, developing one's attachment to Krishna. And then later on, Prabhupada says, when one develops his love for Krishna, he realizes that all the beauty of a woman is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. And then Prabhupada says, the process of Krishna consciousness is perfect. Prabhupada added affectionately, just follow this process with all sincerity. Offer this life to Krishna and try to serve him to the best of your ability. Try to develop your love for him, and the rest will automatically happen. Then Prabhupada said something that sounded to me, this is Maharaj speaking. Then Prabhupada said something that sounded to me like the ultimate secret of spiritual success. Maya is extremely strong because it is Krishna's potency. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya dvayataya. It is impossible to overcome. But if you remain in the association of devotees, then Maya will not be able to touch you, because Maya is Krishna's external potency, whereas the association of devotees is Krishna's internal potency. Therefore, always remain in the association of devotees and never, ever go away from that shelter. And then the final two sentences. One concern crept into my mind. Srila Prabhupada, I asked, if I'm alone on an island, then what will happen to me? Just remember the instructions of the devotees, Prabhupada said. That is also association.
Thank you so much.
Very well.
His
Wonderful.
Holiness